Today we delve into 3 spine-chilling tales of caving adventures that spiraled into nightmares. These stories, woven with tragedy, survival, and harrowing decisions, reveal how the unforgiving depths of the earth can turn curiosity into calamity. Each account is a stark reminder of the delicate balance between human ambition and the raw power of nature. Viewer discretion is advised as we recount these haunting narratives that highlight the thin line between adventure and disaster. On June 20th, 2015, the serene forests of Singhampton, Ontario, bore silent witness to an event that would etch itself into local lore. Seth Rowe, a 30-year-old outdoor enthusiast, set out on a solitary exploration, seeking the uncharted. Known among friends for his adventurous spirit, Seth was no stranger to outdoor expeditions. However, this time, his fascination with the unknown led him into a labyrinth of hidden dangers. Armed with a backpack, a headlamp, and a sense of invincibility, Seth ventured into the conservation park's hidden crevice caves. These caves, a labyrinth of narrow fissures carved over millennia by water and time, were unmarked and largely unexplored. Seth's decision to enter them alone, without notifying anyone, would prove to be a fateful mistake. The entrance to the cave was barely noticeable, a narrow slit in the rocky ground, partially obscured by moss and fallen leaves. The opening, only 20 inches wide, descended sharply into the earth, narrowing further as it went. Intrigued, Seth switched on his headlamp and began his descent, his heart pounding with excitement and trepidation. At first, the cave's cool air and rough-hewn walls held a sense of mystery. The beams of his headlamp revealed shimmering mineral deposits and ancient markings on the walls, remnants of a world untouched by sunlight. The passage soon tightened, forcing Seth to maneuver with care. By the time he reached a constriction just 15 inches wide, the walls pressed against his shoulders. Despite the growing unease, Seth pushed onward, driven by curiosity. When he reached a point where the tunnel narrowed even further, he decided it was time to turn back. But as he braced his foot against a small outcrop to hoist himself upward, the stone beneath him shifted. Centuries of erosion had weakened it, and before he could react, the rock crumbled away. Seth plunged 36 feet into the abyss, his body colliding violently with jagged walls before coming to an abrupt stop. He was wedged tightly in a vertical crevice, bruised, bleeding, and disoriented. Trapped 18 feet from the surface with no way to climb out, Seth's initial shock gave way to a chilling realization. He was utterly alone. Hours dragged on as his cries for help echoed through the cave's cold silence, swallowed by the earth above. The pain in his limbs intensified, and the darkness pressed down on him like a suffocating blanket. By nightfall, hope began to wane. Above ground, 2 hikers returning to the trailhead noticed something unusual. Faint cries reached their ears, carried by the stillness of the forest. Intrigued, they followed the sound to the cave's entrance. Peering inside, they spotted the dim glow of Seth's headlamp far below. Alarmed, they immediately contacted emergency services. Rescue teams arrived swiftly, their floodlights illuminating the area. The narrowness of the cave posed significant challenges, with traditional extraction methods rendered impossible. Rescuers lowered granola bars, water, and blankets to sustain Seth while they strategized. Each passing hour brought new complications, but the team's determination remained steadfast. Using air chisels, the rescuers painstakingly chipped away at the rock surrounding Seth. Each strike echoed through the crevice, inching closer to his freedom. By dawn, Seth had been trapped for nearly 20 hours. Finally, after 22 hours of relentless effort, Seth was pulled from the cave, pale and battered, but alive. The operation, costing over $46,000, sparked debates about the financial burden of such missions. For Seth, however, The experience was transformative, leaving him with a profound respect for the forces of nature. January 10th, 2010, dawned cold and crisp in the rugged landscape surrounding Upper Millerton Lake Cave. Paul Martson, 55, and Eric Burke, 36, were seasoned cavers with years of experience exploring some of the most challenging cave systems in the region. On this day, they set out to explore the cave's intricate network of ledges, narrow passages, and icy streams. The cave's passages were a mix of tight squeezes and expansive chambers, each presenting unique obstacles. For an hour, the pair maneuvered through chimney-like sections and water-filled corridors, marveling at the geological formations. Their goal was straightforward: explore and return. But in caves, simplicity is often deceptive. Their route brought them to a tight vertical drop, where water trickled ominously into the darkness below. Paul decided to descend for a quick look. He slid feet first into the opening, using his hands to steady himself. But as his weight shifted, a chalkstone wedged above the passage began to move. Before he could react, the stone dislodged, pinning his right arm against the rock wall. Paul's torso remained wedged in the narrow shaft, his legs dangling over an unseen drop. Pain shot through his trapped arm as Eric scrambled to assist. The scene was grim. The chalkstone's weight was immense, and any attempt to move it risked further injury. Eric assessed the situation with the calm precision of an experienced caver. Using smaller rocks and debris, he attempted to chip away at the edges of the stone, hoping to reduce the pressure on Paul's arm. Hours passed, each filled with painstaking effort. The freezing water and confined space made every movement a struggle. Paul, despite his agony, maintained composure, his steady voice urging Eric to continue. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Eric managed to shift the chalkstone enough for Paul to pull himself free. With his arms swollen and barely functional, Paul relied on Eric's guidance to navigate the treacherous passages back to the surface. The pair emerged into the fading light, their bodies battered and spirits shaken. Paul's ordeal underscored the inherent risks of caving, even for seasoned explorers. Their harrowing experience serves as a powerful reminder of nature's unpredictability and the resilience required to survive. February 22, 1975, was a day marked by relentless rain in Bloomington, Indiana. The downpour had swollen rivers and streams, turning Salamander Cave into a treacherous maze of water-filled passages. Undeterred, 3 university freshmen, Kim Aldrich, Marsha Bott, and Terry Yoakum, ventured into the cave, eager to explore its winding corridors. Despite warnings from experienced cavers about the rising floodwaters, the trio pressed on, ill-equipped and overconfident. Salamander Cave, known for its accessibility, had lured them into a false sense of security. Their lack of waterproof gear and navigational tools proved disastrous as the cave stream transformed into a torrent. Inside, their footprints and abandoned belongings told a tale of desperation. The rising waters forced them to seek higher ground, but the flooded passages offered little refuge. By the time rescuers arrived, the entrance was submerged, leaving only inches of airspace. Efforts to reach the students were hampered by the cave's narrow and flooded conditions. When the waters receded, rescuers discovered the bodies of Kim and Marsha near the entrance, drowned in the rising floodwaters. Terry's body was found further inside, suggesting he had sought shelter in vain. The Salamander Cave tragedy remains a haunting reminder of the need for preparation and respect for nature's power. These stories, Seth Rowe's near-fatal plunge, Paul and Eric's desperate struggle, and the Salamander Cave tragedy, highlight the immense risks of caving. Beneath the Earth's surface lies a world of beauty and danger, where even the smallest error can lead to catastrophe. These accounts serve as cautionary tales, urging adventurers to approach with preparation, respect, and an acute awareness of the unforgiving nature of the subterranean world.